All right, so this is going to be another bad movie review. I haven't done one of these in a couple months, I think. This is going to be on the last days of American crime from 2020. I heard nothing but bad things about this. It got really low ratings on pretty much everything. And I see why. And if I'd have seen it in 2020, it would have been on my worst list because this is awful. It's directed by Olivier Megaton, who's come up on my bad movie reviews before. I'm pretty sure he directed Taken 3, so we got a repeat offender here. It's boring, it's generic, it's terrible. I don't care about any of the characters or anything really going on at all. And on top of that, it is 2.5 hours long. And I did not know that before I started watching it, and that was painful. That was painful. I wanted it to be over so bad. But anyway, let's get into what it's about. So Edgar Ramirez plays Brick, main character in this, and he's a criminal. He does a bank job at one point and things like that. Him and his brother, and they have a group that they do bank jobs, and they're criminals. And the Demoy family, they run this area. They leave that group alone as long as they get their cut. They didn't get their cut, so now they're after Brick, and his brother is now dead because he went to prison. He died in prison. The main character Brick, he wants to get out of this place and go to Canada because of the API, which is this signal that's going to come up in a few days that's going to crack down on crime by sending out some kind of signal that keeps people from intentionally breaking the law. It's silly, it's nonsense. A tyrannical government, I guess, would do something like this, but come on, it would never happen in real life. But whatever, you want to play around with it, cool. Like, the main issue is that they take it so goddamn serious, with it being as bad as it is, and they constantly add on to it. It gets convoluted, and it's a mess. So he ends up meeting up with Kevin, let me find him, played by Michael Pitt, and he turns out to be the son of the head of that family, the Moy family, the crime family, but he's estranged from them. He's not going after Brick. He wants to use Brick so that him and the love interest in this movie, which they kind of have a love triangle with, can do this heist, grab this money, and turn off the signal on one of the towers for 30 minutes so they can cross into Canada before the signal comes back on, and they'll be rich in Canada. But there's like other things going on. The love interest, she turns out to be working with the FBI because they've threatened her sister, but they got her sister a passport and everything. But she's still working with them to give information on Kevin. So that's going on. Eventually, they go over to the house of the head of the Demoy family, and they have their whole family bickering thing going on. And then he ends up killing his father and his sister. So then the rest of the family, even though the head of that crime family is gone, they still want to go after Brick and Kevin. And Kevin gets shot, Brick gets captured and tortured and almost set on fire because he set some dude on fire in the beginning. And so that guy survived, and so he's going to set him on fire now. Whatever. They end up getting away. They end up killing those people that were after them. There's a car chase and things like that. Eventually, they do that heist where the love interest in here, she's a master hacker. She gets into the building, shuts down the signal, and then they go into the vault. They blow up the vault, get the money, and just as they're about to cross into Canada with the money, Kevin reveals that he was the one who actually killed the brother in prison because they were testing the signal on them, and somehow he was able to get past the signal, and so now the signal doesn't work on him, so he shot Brick and things like that. But then the FBI agents that were going after Kevin, they show up and they end up killing Kevin and leaving Brick for dead. But then he uses these 2 pills that he got way earlier in the movie. Somehow they were able to shut down that signal. And so he takes them and then he shoots the FBI people. He goes to pick up the love interest. They go into Canada and then he dies. And that's pretty much it. Like I always do, let's do positives. I guess some of the action is okay. Characters seem to survive bullet wounds very easily. Kevin gets shot by his father when they fight, and somehow he's like, clean yourself up, and then he shows up and he's perfectly fine. That happens a couple times where people get shot and they're somehow okay. But whatever. I guess you could kind of get into that. The car chase is, I guess, okay, right? The flipping cars, and somehow the streets were filled with people before. For this car chase, it's completely empty. A lot of movies do that. So that took me out of it, but I guess the car chase is okay. I don't care about any of the characters or anything going on. I'm not invested, so it doesn't fully work, but it's fine, I guess. I've seen worse. And then I'll say the movie looks okay, it's shot okay, the cinematography is fine. Like I said, I've seen worse, right? So it's a decent looking movie, I guess. And then also Kevin. I did not like Kevin. I don't think the performance is good. I don't think any of his dialogue is good. I don't think the character is good at all. But at least in comparison, this character has the most personality at least. So there's that.
Oh, baby, you, why you play with me? But you say he's just forget. You say you forgot something. Come on, give me all your fucking money. Give me all your money! You think I'm fucking playing? Really don't understand my humor.
So let's get into it. You know, I just said Kevin had personality, nobody else does, which would be a problem, but not as big of a problem if it wasn't for the lead having probably the least amount of personality. So Edgar Ramirez, I've seen him do this in other things where he talks real quietly like this, right? He's giving you ASMR throughout most of the movie. And it's like, dude, can you speak up? You're this hardened criminal. Everybody in this movie is trying to pretend to be a hard ass. They're all in each other's face and shit like that. Can you speak up a little bit? Like, it's just, it was really annoying me. You know, he has no chemistry with the love interest in this movie at all. They seem like they're just hooking up in some bar, and then they start actually trying to connect. And it's like, well, you guys didn't even really have sexual chemistry, so there's no romantic chemistry at all, too. So I don't care about that romance anyway. This character is as bland as possible. The only time he speaks above this is when he's being tortured, not even when he's torturing other people, he's still whispering in their ear during that. So yeah, when he's being tortured, he's screaming or something like that. But for the most part, he's like this with everything, right? Oh, this is this too close for comfort? It's just, it's not cool. It's lame, and the character is just bland and generic.
I get it. If this score of his has a real chance of working, so don't fuck with me, or I'll kill you myself.
So romantic.
The romance, the things with the FBI really working with the love interest to get them or whatever, I didn't really care about that. A lot of this just feels pointless. This is 2.5 hours, and you could have easily cut it down. If you don't have something to say, why the fuck is your movie? It shouldn't even be 2 hours. Why the fuck is it 2.5? I don't know. That was, that's that. But with all this other stuff going on with the love interest and the FBI and things like that, and her sister, and I didn't care, and I didn't care for these characters. Off the romance, it's barely even a love triangle, really. Kevin doesn't seem like he's all that bothered. Going past the romance, we have the API, right? So the API, it's silly, it's stupid, right? This is apparently a tyrannical government, like it's the Hunger Games or some shit. I mean, apparently there was a famous person that got in their private jet with their wife and tried to leave the country. They shot him down. I was like, whoa, shit. Like, they give the plugins to the police officers so the police officers can commit crimes, I guess, but the people can't. If the government is this tyrannical, I don't even know how the crime rate got up in the first place. I mean, because at the beginning it looks like you're looking at an online lobby in GTA Online. Like, it just, people just going through, just committing all kinds of crimes, like there's no police at all. But then you see them at the border, and they're not just not letting people through the border, they're gunning people down the minute they approach the border. So it's crazy. This world doesn't really make all that much sense. But also they add on to the API to where they're they're buying people's illegal money back or something like that. White collar people, whatever, they're reaching out to them, and they're like, hey, you can't use this money after the signal goes up, so we can buy the money back from you. It's really dumb. I was thinking, I was like, okay, is it because they're like burning old money and making new money? Or is it because of, and this is what I think it is, after the signal goes up, not only will you not be able to steal money, you won't even be able to use money that you've already stolen. That's what the idea that I was getting from it. I don't know how that signal could be that advanced, but whatever. And so that's why they're buying the money back. But it's like, if they can't use that money after this signal anyway, so they'll essentially be broke, why are you giving the money anyway, right? The main guy, the Brick, he he's acting like he's going to give $5 million to him. It turns out to be fake money anyway. He's going to give him $5 million and he'll get 300 and something thousand back. It's like, why are you even giving him 300,000, right? They can't do anything with the money.
Under the API amnesty program, I can give you $350,000. You must know you're late. The signal goes live in just over 24 hours, at which point, as you know, your money will become useless. Best deal of your life.
Unless, I guess, it is the signal that's keeping them from using it illegally. So if they do get the money back, it can actually be put back into circulation. I don't know. Like, with a stupid premise like this, not only do they take it seriously, they keep adding on to it to where now it makes even less sense. Why is the main character just able to just take 2 red pills and be over it? Why is there a character that can just get past it because he got into some fights in fucking prison? Right? That seems like flaws in the signal. That seems like flaws in the design that you should probably do something about. This was actually during a test. That he was able to break free of the signal. So you think you would tweak it in some way to do something about it. And then that same person, he killed someone in prison despite the signal, and you just let him free. That's how he got out. It doesn't make any sense. At points, characters do certain things, and it's like, I don't think they should be able to do that with the signal because they can't commit any crimes. The love interest, she's trying to get away from a cop at the end. The whole cop storyline was silly and unnecessary anyway. But the cop that's going after her that got the plug-in, right? At points, she tries to run away from him. At points, she's fighting with him. And the only thing the signal keeps her from doing is intentionally killing him with a shard of glass. It's like, well, if it's keeping you from committing crimes, shouldn't it keep you from running? Shouldn't it keep you from fighting a police officer? Right? Like, it's stupid as fuck. It just is. It's dumb. And to be honest with you, it feels like they did that last minute. They threw it in there just to punch up the script. Because without it, it's just a generic fucking heist movie, right? With a bunch of other subplots that nobody cares about. So they were like, okay, we'll add a sci-fi element to it. That'll be the hook that'll get people in. But they didn't really do much with it, and it doesn't make sense when they do anything with it. So it feels kind of pointless and forced in there. Past the API thing, I think that's all I had to say about that. It's ridiculous, and it would never actually happen in any version of the real world. The heist itself, they started off with her pretending to be, her just laying out in the street, and the truck comes up and picks her up. And it's so obviously a setup. I was like, really? The old, injured lady in the middle of the street thing, huh? That's what you fall for? All right, cool. And then they steal the truck. And then the guy that steals the truck, that's part of the group, he gets caught by somebody, and somebody's like, hey, you're not so-and-so that's on his uniform. And it's like, wouldn't you be smart about it? Wouldn't you be like, oh, okay, go on ahead. And then you tell everybody else that, hey, this guy's not supposed to be here. But no, he tells him to his face, and then the guy obviously pulls a gun on him. It's like, it's stupid. But then they pretend to give the $5 million to the guy that's running all this shit. And somehow, like, he pulls the check out of the guy's pocket and stuff like that. And after he takes the check, he gets in the car and just starts to leave. And it's like, and as he's leaving, he sets the one of the bills on fire, and it turns out to be fake. It's like, why didn't you do that while he was still standing there? Why'd you wait until he got the check, got in the car, and started to leave? Right? That's dumb. But luckily, they found out before he actually left, so they all start shooting or whatever. It's a shootout. These two, they should be dead. There's a whole group of people there shooting at them, and somehow they're able to get down the elevator shaft or whatever. It's like, this is ridiculous. And they're able to just go in and like blow up the safety to get in there. It's like, anyway, while they're having, the signal go off, which is just like the camera shaking or whatever in their face. And it's never all that interesting or cool. I feel like most of this is just boring. I don't care about any of the characters. They have no personality. The dialogue is terrible. Everybody's just trying to act real tough with each other. Like, tough guy. Everybody's a hard ass. It's like, it's just lame. It's just lame. You don't believe any of it, especially this main dude who always talks like this with everything. They have this whole drama shit with the family where he fucked his stepmom, and so his dad tried to set him up and have him killed, and it's just, the acting is terrible. It is entertaining in a bad way. It's probably the best part of the whole movie, but it's like, I was still, even with that, I was like, why is this here?
You fucking set me up! You tried to fucking kill me!
What kind of sicko fucks his stepmother?
I introduced you to her! You didn't give me shit, you gave her everything!
Oh, grow up, Kenneth!
Grow up, shut the fuck up!
I'll go to your party! Go to your party!
It just, like I said, it feels like a generic heist movie where they're like, oh shit, let's punch it up with this API shit, which is stupid as hell, convoluted. I was like, when you have something that's stupid, why are you making me feel stupid by making it extra convoluted to where I'm like, okay, how does this work again? It's like, I don't know, man. This movie is so it is so bad. And the whole time I was just waiting, I was just wanting it to end. And it just wouldn't. It just kept fucking going, and I couldn't fucking stand it. I couldn't stand any of these characters, any of this shit. I'm sorry, man. The I don't know what was going on with this fucking thing, man. It's not good, man. It's not good. It's actually terrible. It's actually worse than I thought it would be. And if it wasn't 2.5 hours, maybe I'd be like, okay, I'll give it utter trash. I didn't like it, but whatever. If it was like an hour and a half, because that's what it should be. But at 2.5 hours, it was a struggle, and I just didn't care. I didn't care. Anyway, like I said, it could have been utter trash. Instead, I'm giving it complete shit. I hate it. It would have been on my worst list in 2020 if I'd have seen it then but I didn't. Don't bother with it. Don't even watch it to be like, oh, how bad is it? It's not worth watching. It is a piece of shit. I'm telling you right now. It's a boring, generic, terribly written, annoying piece of shit. But anyway, yeah, that's The Last Days of American Crime. Subscribe, and we're done.